Good morning, and we are live. Good to see you folks. It is hump day. We've made it through another weekend. The week is over. We can see the next weekend coming up on the distance. This is going to be a good day. This is going to be a good day. Let's do this. Good morning, man. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Just wanted to say thank you for all you generous people, especially the Peeps. I'm really dying to try the Peeps pumpkins. I am, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. You know, let's just, I like to put a little taste in your mouth, just a little soupçon, just a little something that's just something that, frame things up. And let's just start with big dummies words. All, we won't speak for him. We'll just let him speak for himself.
Just one more on Venezuela. The president of Venezuela called the strike on the boat illegal. Are you concerned that Maduro might escalate something?
What's illegal are the drugs that were on the boat and the drugs that are being sent into our country. And the fact that 300 million people died last year from drugs, that's what's illegal.
Wait, what? What? Okay, first of all, what the hell is going on with this hair, man? Just shave your freaking head. You've got an excuse. You're having all kinds of medical problems. We know you're dying. Just shave your freaking head. This is getting embarrassing. You represent the United States of America, and this is getting embarrassing. Just do something about that head. But let's catch that last part again.
From drugs, that's what's illegal.
Do you think he's not telling the truth when he's...
Just one more on Venezuela.
Drugs. That 300 million people died last year from drugs. That's what's illegal.
Okay, cool. Does anybody know the population of the United States of America? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody know the population of the United States of America? Last census, it was about 330 million, so you can figure it's about 340 now. But apparently 300 million of us died last year and nobody noticed. This is what y'all are afraid of? Really? This is what y'all are afraid of? I keep getting people, and not y'all, and not y'all in the Texas Paul community. I know who y'all are, but I just keep getting people. It's I don't know the right word for it. Every time I post something on any of our social media platforms, I get people just with this hand wringing. Oh my God, they're gonna this, they're gonna that. Oh my God, this is what you're afraid of. This imbecile. This idiot, this guy that has no grasp of any situation whatsoever. He's lazy. He's stupid. He doesn't read. This is your enemy and you're afraid? No, not at all. Not at all. Nor Norwegian friends in the house. Mr. Knudsen. In 2024, about 62 million people died worldwide, all causes. Yep. That's why I love our audience, man. I'm telling you, and I'm going to say it one more time, folks. I'll say it every damn show. If you're watching this on replay, if you're on a PC, there's a little button down there in the right-hand corner that says panel, pretty close to that thumbs up button you need to be hitting anyway. It says panel, hit that and open so you can see the live chat, what people are talking about. They will be holding parallel conversations. Sometimes they differ from what we're talking about. Sometimes they go beyond what we're talking about. You want to be part of the live chat. You do. You want to see what's going on in the live chat as the show goes on. Mike Daly, like the Twilight Zone, where is everybody? No kidding, right? I mean, I was completely unaware in my little humble rural abode that 300 million of y'all had died last year. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I missed all the funerals. Jesus Christ. This is on international news, people. This is so embarrassing as an American. So embarrassing as an American. And it doesn't get better. I mean, our vice president, our vice president decided he wanted to be a podcaster. This is the reality TV presidency. It is. They use AI for freaking everything instead of people that have actual talents, that people that know things. So they go to Chat GPT to try to look things up. But everything that this administration does is, it's either the tax grift where they're working with their billionaire buddies to try to dump their tax burdens on you through this tariff boondoggle, which, by the way, got real quiet over the last couple of weeks, didn't it? Trump hadn't slapped a tariff on anybody in weeks. Yeah, they're figuring out how badly that's crashing in the economy. We're going to talk about the economy here a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, it's just a reality TV television show. Everything they do is about some spectacle somewhere to get some attention. It's not real. None of it is real. And you've got our Vice President of the United States of America, man number 2 in line for the presidency. One heartbeat away from a very, very, very damaged old heart, is deciding he wants to be a podcaster. Yeah, he wants to be a podcaster.
And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, so not only does he want to be a podcaster, which is humiliating enough, he's going to be a shitty podcaster. Let me show you exactly what's going on here. Omniscient Sphinx, even Trump knows that the smart people hate him. Yeah, came out and said it. What does that say about MAGA? No shit. No shit. He says the smart people hate him, which means he knows that MAGA ain't it. Well, right after saying that, this happened, and everybody caught it, because the moment our idiot vice president, Just Dance Vance, went on and, changed careers to become a podcaster and spouted that idiot statement, everybody ran to the DOJ study that said, no, your own data says just the opposite. And we end up with this headline: DOJ deletes its own study from website showing far more domestic terrorism committed by far-right extremists. Poof, went away. Nobody could find it. Well, that exploded all over social media. Not only is Just Dance Vance lying, the data that shows that he's lying, they're trying to delete it. Well, that was an ugly look. And again, this is the reality TV television show. It showed their weakness. It showed how bad it is. And I'm happy to say that almost immediately after this went viral, that yes, they've deleted this study from the internet. It is back. The archive study from the National Institutes of Justice that plainly says things like far-right extremists have committed far more ideologically motivated homicides than far-left or radical Islamist extremists, is back up in the archives. So yeah, don't think for a second that you speaking out doesn't matter? It matters. It matters greatly. Michaela Curley, thank you for being here. Glad to see new people in the audience. Thank you for the support. Thank you for supporting the show. I can't do it without you. Truly grateful that you're here. Yeah, no kidding. Maybelline, man. He wants to be a podcaster so bad because he can do the makeup. You know, I don't do makeup. That's why I'm so ugly. Sorry. My ugly mug, you have to put up with it the way it is. Oh, damn. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Woo! I drank the last of that Stowe coffee this morning. I mean, I got to tell you, that was great, man. I really appreciated you sending that. I really did. But yeah, it's just one thing after another. But we do have some good news, folks. I don't want to leave you negative today. We have some good news. We had another special election, and XP Lee, the Democrat, cleaned up. I mean, did extremely well. It's that, and that's the real story. Isn't just that the Democrat won a seat in a Democrat leaning district. That was Minnesota's 34B. That was Melissa Horton's district. We expected the Democrat to win, but the fact that he won with almost 80% of the vote is just amazing. Amazing. Warren Benson, if Trump dies, Vance will be president. That may be worse than Trump, as weak as he is now steering the ship. Thanks for the work you do for democracy. No, thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. The good look, the downside about, this is an interactive show. I will take that question. The downside about Vance is, he's just a pure ideologue. He is a Curtis Yarvin, unitary executive freak. He believes in a king CEO. That is a problem. The good side of that double-edged sword is that he is about as appealing as jock itch. I mean, that dude can't even order a donut without humiliating himself. He will not take over the Trump cult. He will not. The Trump cult is in the midst of a civil war anyways, despite what the corporate media is trying to do to protect them and hold them together. MAGA is in the midst of a civil war anyways. Jeremy Breeden in the house. Good to see you here for the live show, my brother. Take a second, people, to hit the thumbs up button. Take a second to hit the subscribe button. Let's get as many people in here as possible. That is your job. That is your job. But yeah, we had a bit of surprising news yesterday. Did you know that Epstein didn't traffic girls to anybody? Did you know that? Did you know that? Yeah, me neither. Me neither. This is the biggest load of bullshit. This is Foghorn Leghorn John Kennedy in his exchange with Kash Patel. Kash Patel sat down with the Judiciary Committee yesterday, Senate Judiciary Committee, and it did not go well. We're going to play a lot of video here. I do apologize for that. But I want you to see Kash Patel speaking for himself. This guy is an internet troll. He is nothing but an internet troll. He has no business being the FBI director. None whatsoever. And when you see his answers, I want you to imagine any other FBI director. I don't care if it's James fucking Comey. Try to imagine any other FBI director answering questions this way. It is so a reality TV show. It's not even funny. All he's doing is desperately trying to throw red meat out for the base and do damage control. But listen to this nonsense.
About the Epstein files. Have you seen the Epstein files?
I have not reviewed the entirety of it myself, but a good amount.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Epstein trafficked young women, including in some instances minors, for sex to himself?
That was specifically the allegations in the 2018 indictment in the Southern District of New York.
Now, I want you to pay very close attention that Foghorn is setting this up. Foghorn knows the answer to this question before he asked it. This is their new tack. I want you to be prepared for this. This is what they're going to try to sell their MAGA base. I'll get more to that in just a minute. But this is what they're going to try to sell. Catch that little thing right there. Catch the way he framed the question. As a matter of fact, I'll back it up for you just a little bit so you can hear the way he frames this question.
Minors for sex to himself.
To himself.
That was specifically the allegations in the 2018 indictment in the Southern District of New York.
Okay. Who else did he traffic these young women to?
In terms of what the investigation, again, going back to 2008, Mr. Acosta, who limited the investigation and limited the search warrants and limited the parameters of the investigation, the only thing we are able to speak to publicly, because he was given a non-prosecution agreement by Mr. Acosta, is that first time period from, I believe, don't quote me on this, 97 to 2001-ish. And then when the Trump administration courageously reopened it.
Ask excuse me for interrupting, but I'm going to run out of time. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So they.
Okay. All right. All right. The narrative is out there. That's it. The narrative is out there. Pamela, thanks for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate it. This is the new narrative. This is it. This is what they're going to say. They're going to try to throw Alex Acosta under the bus and say, oh, Alex Acosta screwed this up. So we don't have anybody. There's nobody else in the Epstein files. That's it. And Ghislaine Maxwell would really, really, really like a word about that, because she is actually sitting in jail for trafficking. And if you don't remember who Alex Acosta is, this is Alex Acosta. This is Alex Acosta. And what's important to remember about Alex Acosta is they were very, 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 very proud of him when Donald Trump appointed him labor secretary in his first administration. This guy that they're trying to throw under the bus is a Trump appointee. And they're going to try to say, oh, well, he screwed up the investigation, so we don't have anybody. There's nobody else in the files. Let it go. That's the new narrative. And that, my friends, is bullshit. That is bullshit. Jordan, all these Republicans voted not to release the Epstein files. Kennedy is weak. Kennedy is, let me tell you something about John Kennedy. I want to put a pin in that. Let me tell you something about John Kennedy. John Kennedy does not speak that way. He doesn't. He speaks as clearly as I do. See, we Southerners, we have a Southern accent. We do. We have a Southern accent, but it doesn't come out when you're just talking. You know, like I'm really comfortable with you folks. We're just talking. So the accent isn't really super pronounced. Yes, I've got an accent, I know, but it's not super pronounced, and neither is John Kennedy's. That whole foghorn leghorn thing, that man went to Oxford for an advanced law degree from Oxford after already having a law degree from University of Virginia. And then, I mean, he went to Vanderbilt, for Christ's sake. This is an Ivy League educated, Oxford educated lawyer. He does not speak like foghorn. That is all a scripted act. I'm telling you, it is. It's all a scripted act. Take it from another Southerner. We don't talk that way all the time. I get accused all the time. All the time when I do videos and I'm just comfortable talking on the back porch. They're like, oh, you're Texas, Paul. You're from Texas, huh? Where's your accent? Sherry Rowe, thanks for all the Admiralty Inlet and Mean Bean who made my coffee. Glad to hear you got some good brew this morning, my friend. Glad to hear you got some good brew this morning. Everybody needs a good cup of coffee. Yeah, Mike Daly, he trafficked to himself. Yeah, my ass. Billy Joe Lara, thank you for being here, brother. Thanks for supporting the show. Glad to see you new folks in here. I really am. I really am glad to see you new folks in here. But yeah, it looks like y'all aren't buying that shit any more than anybody else. But it didn't get any better than that. He had a complete meltdown. He just had a crash. He did. He just crashed. He completely freaked out when shit got real for him. It was just really here. Let me show you the exchange.
You clearly won't tell us the cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question. And that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau.
Now that got just way too real for Kash Patel. He is nothing but a talking head. He is not somebody that is qualified to do his job. And he knows from the fact that all he does is spin bullshit narratives all day long, that this hurts. This hits home. Your average person can understand this. You know, this isn't complex. There's no way to wiggle out of it. And listen to his tone immediately.
To a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
Prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am doing is
most-
protecting
the
this
most-
country,
the
providing
most
historic
significant
reform,
witness-
and
the most
combating the
significant witness,
weaponization of intelligence
Epstein
by the likes
files
of you.
cover-up,
And we have
yet
countlessly proven you to
from
be a
your
liar in
administration,
Russiagate, in
and you
January
call that
6th.
being
You are
in
the
the
biggest
weeds?
fraud to ever sit in the
This
United
stinks
States
to
Senate.
high
You are a
heaven.
disgrace to this
This stinks to high
institution
heaven.
and an utter
And
coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not
I'm
surprised
not
that you continue to lie
that the-
from
the-
your
that
perch and put on a show so you can.
Could you ever imagine Chris Wray responding to something that way? Any FBI director, Robert Mueller, any FBI director responding that way. That is the response of a man who's panicked and backed against a wall that has nothing he can possibly say and desperately does not want to talk about what he is talking about because he is getting damaged greatly. That is why he responds like a little puffer fish. Mark Savari, waiting for Patel to report on shadow people spying on him. I know he is a conspiracy internet troll. That is all. Could you, and I'll ask it again, could you imagine any FBI director responding to any question that way? I remember times when the media, when the press, the corporate press, actually reported on an FBI director chuckling at a question. They reported that emotional response because the director of the FBI chuckled at a question. This is ridiculousness. It's embarrassing. The world is seeing this little fool that runs our FBI. And this is what you're afraid of? This is what you're afraid of? Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Patel got all in his feelings. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Kirsta 007 mil. Yes. Yeah. He got all up in his feelings because he knew he was getting freaking destroyed. He was getting destroyed. And it didn't end there. It didn't end there. And yeah, Cory Booker did a great job. I didn't have that for you. I'll get it for you. Cory Booker predicted in this hearing that Kash Patel is not long for his job. Do you agree? Yeah. Yes. Even Republicans are already calling for him to step down. Yeah. Even Republicans are already calling for him to step down. Let's finish with Adam Schiff, and I'll get that Booker clip for you. This has actually preceded the exchange you just saw.
Follow up on Senator Kennedy's question, because he asked you, and I'll be very precise here. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said himself. There's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited. And Senator Kennedy said, the answer is no one. And you said, for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never
Patel?
said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
Did he traffic any young woman to someone other than himself? That was Mr. Kennedy's question,
And I
Senator Kennedy's
said
question.
the information that 3 administrations have had access to
I'm
have
asking
made
you-
determinations that there are no investigative leads that were credible to prosecute and investigate any others. I'm
Well,
That's yes, by the way. He's saying yes. Yes, that's what I said. That's what this response was. This long drawn out, everybody else looked at this and got the same answer. They said that's a lie. That's a lie. He just lied to you.
typically
I'm asking
stating
you-
And he lied to you under oath, by the way.
whether
we
it's
were
your
working on-
testimony today.
well, you just read it, and I
I'm-
said it
I'm-
10 minutes ago, so let the record reflect my
I
testimony.
just want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, because there are victims.
Please don't make me say yes again. Please don't make me say that to my MAGA followers again.
Like Virginia Guifer, who have testified otherwise, who have said otherwise, and you're telling the American people today that the Epstein list is a single name and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying, and
Well,
you
let
can
me-
say
let me
whatever
ask
you
you- let me-
want.
That is what you're saying. You just said it. You just said it. You just said it. Oh my God. This is, I mean, I don't mean to laugh about something so serious, but it's laughable. It is laughable. This guy is nothing but an internet troll. This is like trying to watch Charlie Jerk debate somebody. You know, when you start debating somebody that actually knows what's going on instead of sitting in your blowhard show, all of a sudden, all the shit you're saying doesn't hold up anymore. I'm telling you. It's hilarious. Kate Marylight, Trump can't handle 2 things at once. Wait until he gets back from England to rid himself of Patel. Yeah, I tell you what, I don't think Patel's done for yet, but he is definitely not going to make it throughout the entire Trump presidency. He is already on thin ice, and he wants to grift after this. So as Trump continues to implode, we're going to talk about the economy here in a little bit. You can't bullshit your way through the economy. You can't. They're trying to, but you can't. You just can't bullshit your way through it. As reality sets home for people more and more, Kash Patel will voluntarily jump ship, and then Trump will claim to fire him. George Allen, how much they hated Christopher Wray. Years of the right-wing ranting. Look who they got now. No kidding. No kidding. No kidding. Patel was panicking. Yeah, he was. Diamond Garage. Thank you for always being there, brother. Yeah, he was. He was panicking like crazy. Bruce Barrows, Kash will be grilled by the House today. Yeah, it'll be even more of an idiotic spectacle because the Republicans in the House have no shame whatsoever. None. E.T., a filibuster lie and trying to throw meat to the base, and he is sinking bad. People need to get people to help us vote these people out. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, Ben. I'm with you. That's my goal. That's my job. That's what I'm doing. Lost track of time, but I'm here to, hey, good to see you here, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Texas Paul, they want him on record so they can prosecute him afterwards. I'm telling you, I don't know that I don't know that it's, if they're going to prosecute him. I don't know. I don't know. But I would love to see any malfeasance from this administration prosecuted. Any of it. We made the mistake last time with Merrick Garland. Okay, let's move forward. Let's keep the country rolling. No. Not this time. Not this time. Not this time. Retribution, vindictiveness, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, not this time. Good to see you here, brother. Good to see you here. But yeah, I don't remember which show it was, but I distinctly remember somebody saying, this is how Patel opened up this nonsense. But I distinctly remember somebody somewhere on some show saying that the reason they're doing this National Guard bullshit was to claim credit for what was already going on. The hard work by governors, the hard work by mayors. Crime is at historic lows. It is trending downward, which, by the way, that's over, by the way. Crime trending downwards. Yeah, I put a pin in this, come back, throw it in my face if I'm wrong. But when the economy goes south, crime goes up. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. And the economy's going south. So yeah, all of the work by mayors, all the work by governors, everything that they've been doing to reduce crime, Trump wanted to take credit for. That's what Republicans do. They just, something good's happening. Hey, let's find out how we can put our name on it, even though we didn't have shit to do with it, because the overwhelming number of cities where the largest amounts of population are run by Democrats. And yay, they're doing a great job, right? Well, yeah. Somebody somewhere, see if you can remember who it was, told you that this was going to be the message coming out of the Trump regime.
In fact, one of the stats that the American people should thank the FBI the most for is we are on track to have the lowest murder rate in modern American history. The lowest murder rate by double-digit percentages. In fact,
somebody somewhere said that was the message that was going to come out of this administration, that was what it was all about. Robin the Hood, good morning. Does anybody remember who was talking about that? Who was telling you that, yeah, that was going to be, I don't know. It's just not, Lori Stone, Kash Patel reminded of a rabid junkyard dog. Yikes. That is a man in trouble. I don't know, folks. Do y'all remember who it was that was, I don't know, did a couple shows on it about how, segments in a show about how this was the whole point. The central point of putting the Guard in Washington, D.C. is to make that claim right there. Mr. Knudsen, when you cut programs that help the poor, you get more crime, more meat for the prison donors, solid labor, still popular, vote blue. I'm with you, Mr. Knudsen. I'm with you. Was it me? Was I the one that said that shit? Yeah, I was. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I know that's unflattering, but damn it, what did I say? And that's what they're doing. And no, it wasn't John Fugelsang. Oh, God. I saw your comment. I read your comments, folks. That's why I'm looking down like this a lot. Wendy Bauman, Volodymyr Zelensky was a comedian and actor and stepped up and took on Putin, and Trump became Putin's clown. He was also a very educated lawyer. He was. He wasn't just a comedian and an actor. He's just that's where he was making his longest green. Miguel Arcentales. Trump's been putting his name on infrastructure projects. Oh yeah, this is why I'm telling you, if you are new to the Texas Paul community, I'm telling you, y'all are freaking awesome. Y'all are freaking on. That red spot, by the way, is from where my hand rests on the mouth. I am telling you, you have got to pay attention to the live chat. You do. The conversations and the points they bring up are beyond the conversation I am having here. This is a community show, folks. You've got to pay attention. And what he's saying here is absolutely true. This is not part of my show today, but it is absolutely true. Trump is going out and putting Trump's name on projects that were built under Biden's infrastructure bill. He is going out there and he's slapping his name on them and claiming that he built this stuff. Yeah, that is really happening right now. Jeremy Breeden, Republicans must have miserable lives. Imagine being perpetually terrified of the world around you and hating everyone different than you. No joy in life other than that of being punched down on, of others being punched down on. Yeah, that last part right there, no joy in life other than that of others being punched down on. If you hang around and drink beer with MAGA folks, that's what they do. That's what they do. They don't talk about great things, fun things. They don't talk about, this, that. No, it's half to 3/4 of the conversation is why they're good and how bad everybody else is. It is that old LBJ trope of tell a white man that he's the lowest white man that he's better than the best black man, and you won't have to pick his pockets. He'll turn his pockets out for you. Yeah, exactly. This is what they do for entertainment. They sit around, they drink beer, and they talk shit about other people. That's it. Canadian Paul, big money changed hands back then with his wannabe made out saint. Follow the money. Yeah, he's talking about Epstein. This isn't over, and this ain't going away, and there's nothing they can do about it. The dude of SoCal, the FBI was never taking credit for that. The FBI has reported on that. This is so out of normal. This is what you get when you put internet trolls into government positions. Ronald Marsh Sr., thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for supporting the show. George Allen, Prop 50 coming up in my state of California. Make sure you vote November 4th. A Trumpy across the street says no. Yeah, you got to get out. This stuff's not going to happen on its own. It's just not. And speaking of which, talking about humiliating. Let me pull up, see if I can find the take from Midas. They had a really good take on it. What's going on? What Trump met in? I don't see it quickly. Let me just go to the net. But the largest image in the world ever produced greeted Donald Trump in England. And, not only did they do that, but they absolutely just displayed images of Trump and Epstein together on the castle that he was staying in. They took projectors and projected, and Trump was rage tweeting at 3:30 this morning. This is really getting to him. But when he flew in, there was it's all over the internet, folks. I apologize for not having the image for you. If I can find it later on, I'll bring it up to you, but I don't want to be sidetracked while I'm just sit here and look for things that I should have already had up for you. But they took and unfurled on the ground that, the picture of Epstein and Trump standing together smiling, unfurled a massive photo of him out on the ground so that he had to see it. And then again, the castle that he's staying in, they projected images of him and Epstein together. There's a television station in the UK that, to greet Trump, canceled all their programming and are running in a loop every lie Donald Trump has ever told. And they haven't hit the first loop yet. There's that many lies. Yeah, it is a big freaking deal. But yeah, they're The corporate media touched on it a little bit, but they are broadcasting images of Trump and Epstein together on the side of the castle that Trump is staying in, and I am here for it. I am completely here for it. They're also putting up quotes from Epstein, quotes from Donald Trump. It is way to go, people. I love our European brothers and sisters. They fight just amazingly. Just amazing. I mean, it is just incredible the way the people over there just stick it and do it. Christopher Daly, hey, Texas Paul, YouTube reformatted and I can't bring up chat on PC. Also does not allow for less than $5 donations. Mrs. Texas Paul had the same problem, and there have been changes in YouTube, but she closed her YouTube and reopened it, and that panel button worked again. So yeah, it's glitchy, but it'll be there. It'll be there. It will. It'll be there. And people are giving less than $5 donations already in the show, so you know that's not accurate either. So, but yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, brother. I get what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, not only are we seeing this clown spectacle show, but we're also seeing on the world stage this. And incompetence just isn't the right word. The malice involved, the inhumanity, the stupidity. They blew up another boat. There's a reason we do interdictions. There's a reason that even in international waters, they pull up and they stop these boats. They arrest the people on it. It's so that you have evidence. You cannot just summarily execute. I'm telling you, these officers that are responsible for this will face charges over this. We are not at war with Venezuela, and this is not a capital crime. Yet they're sitting here executing people. That's not freedom. Your gun is not freedom. It isn't. It doesn't secure your freedom. I know it's a talking point that you folks have, but it doesn't. Because let me tell you something, the military, even not the U.S. military, I'm talking countries that don't have advanced militaries. Your little old AR-15 isn't going to do shit against a couple trained units. And they're showing you they're willing to execute people without a trial, without evidence, without anything. They're executing people that are not committing capital crimes just because they feel like it, because they are a reality TV show administration and they just want to throw some red meat out for the base, act like tough guys. That's a war crime. Folks, that's a war crime. They executed civilians. Susan Casey, thank you for being here. And just because after you do it, you call them terrorists? No, that is the epitome of totalitarianism. That is the utter loss of freedom. The fact that you can force the government, they can't just lock you away somewhere. They have to bring you to a court to sit in front of what should be a non-biased judge to judge your case. Look at Luigi Mangione right now. Karen Agnifilo is about to become the next super lawyer. Karen and Mark Agnifilo are about to become the next super lawyers. They are. Because they are going to beat the government in Luigi Mangione's case. That's the prediction I'm making now. I could be wrong, but I think they are, because they're winning the argument to suppress the only evidence that the government has tying Luigi Mangione to this. They're about to get their evidence suppressed because it was illegally obtained. If you can force the government to prove its case, you have freedom. If the government can summarily execute people, just say, criminal, terrorist, boom, dead. You have no freedom. None whatsoever. So please quit whining to me about your guns. Please quit whining to me about your religious freedom. Yeah, you can't pray away a hellfire missile. Rob Hersey, thank you for being here. Thank you. You cannot pray away a hellfire missile. You can't. You have no freedom if they will do this. And not only are they doing it, they're not hiding it. They're telling you they're doing it. They're telling you they're doing it. Dean Peterson, Trump lies 24/7. Resist, October 18th, 2025. He's talking about the new No King's Day 2.0 is coming up. Joe Curson, thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah, this is something that is going to, we knew we were going to have clean up a lot after this administration. We did. New West Bill, thank you, brother, for always being here. We knew we were going to have to clean up a lot. We did. But this is going to be something that's going to linger for a long time. This is going to go through the world court. This is something that's not going to go away. V-Man 29397. Just a reminder, it was the right-wing government of Puerto Rico who wrote a letter to Trump in January whining about the threat of Maduro to send troops to Puerto Rico. Yeah, Puerto Rican politics is something else, man. The right-wingers in Puerto Rico are dangerous. Lily Wiggs, do you think we will be sanctioned by NATO? No. No, we will not. E.T., I wonder how many people refused the order to fire and what charges they're getting booted for. Yeah, that's the worst part about this, is that was a war crime. It just was. It was a war crime. Those officers that participated in this, those sailors that participated in this, will have committed a war crime, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it. Mr. Knudsen, is it possible to court-martial these people once we get a Democratic into the Oval Office? We're going to have to. That's the damn tragedy of this, is we're going to have to. And I say it's a tragedy because of what they created. It's not a tragedy to adhere to international law, or, I'm not defending this behavior at all. I'm just saying, look what you fucking did. Look at what you created that now we have to do. V-Man, to the right who says bringing bases back to Puerto Rico will bring back jobs. A study by the University of Puerto Rico found that job markets improved in the areas affected following the troops leaving. Oh, I am telling you, brother, I'm telling you, this is something else. Allison Kinsey, Texas Paul, the UK is all involved with the Epstein files. The ambassador was let go due to his presence in the birthday book. Midas Network received leaked emails showing a gift list from Epstein via Maxwell. Yeah, this has all been coming out. Prince Andrew, for Christ's sake. I've shown that picture with Virginia Jeffrey over and over and over again. But now they're claiming, oh no, nobody was trafficked. That is bullshit. And it's not going to go away. And it's just going to intensify because, folks, this is going on. This is going on. Little restaurant chain in Houston, here in Texas, in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. It's gone. Salad and Go. It's gone. It's gone. This is what happens as the economy slows down. Not just little restaurant chains and small businesses that are hurting. It's not. Google just laid off a couple hundred people. AI just isn't as productive as they thought it was going to be. And this also follows up on that story when we were talking about the visas. Harvey, Linda, no kidding. It is perjury. It is perjury. We were talking about the visas and how they abuse the employees that they bring in on the visas. Yeah, that's what that's about. Those employees were bitching about working conditions, and they just laid them all off. The revenues aren't there from AI that they claimed were going to be there. They thought this was going to be the new biggest thing, and everybody realized that, you know what, AI pretty much sucks at this point. Amy Manuel, you know what, Amy? Hold on, let me pull this off the screen. That was such a pretty stone that you sent me. Those 2 stones right there were a gift from Amy. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate that. I really do. They're very pretty. England trolled Trump hard on Epstein. They did. That was really great. I apologize for not having having that up for you. Maybe at the end of the show, I'll go back and find it for you. But yeah, it wasn't, it's not just that. It's just Meta laid off like 3,500 people this year, 3,600 people this year, including the HR manager that was managing the layoffs. Yeah, their layoffs aren't over. Their layoffs aren't over. Not only did they have the layoffs, this is a great article, by the way, in Business Insider. I'm not a huge fan of Business Insider, but this is actually a pretty good article. It's from Alicia Hull. I was an HR manager at Meta who helped guide the layoff process. Then they cut my role too. Yeah. It's happening everywhere. It is happening everywhere. Kathy Stewart, appreciate you doing this. Been doing it for over 60 years, and I'm old and cranky. Thought we had already any done of our share. So disappointed. I know what you meant by that. I know exactly what you meant by that. Vincent Saravo Patel basically told Congress that he's willing to be prosecuted for Trump. He is going to cut and run as more of this economic data. That's my prediction. He quits, and then Trump says, I fired him. Susan Casey, have you seen the alleged text messages? Some of them. I've seen some of them. Dying Breed Garage in the house. Brother, coming out with the huge support. International humanitarian laws prohibit civilians being attacked by civilians on land, sea, or air. Yeah. Or the military. I mean, it is freaking huge that they've done this. And goddamn them for creating this mess. Because now we're going to have to go back and we're going to have to prosecute members of our own military. What a mess. What a disaster. It's an open war crime. But yeah, the layoffs are in every sector. In every sector. Construction has just been decimated. Plagued by part shortages and EV demand uncertainty, GM prepares for layoffs. Actually, they've started their layoffs. It's not preparing anymore. One of their plants is temporarily shut down. Mazda is no longer going to manufacture one of their, the whole point of the tariffs that they sold was it's going to force people to open factories here. You know what? I don't have the Mazda one up here. Let me. One second. Let me just so you know that it is just everywhere. It is everywhere. The CX-50, one of their flagship, that's a very pretty SUV, by the way. That is a beautiful SUV. I every time I see one, I point it out to Mrs. Texas Paul, because this is one of the prettiest SUVs on the road is that Mazda CX-50. And they're not going to make it here anymore. They're not. They're just not going to do it. But the tariffs and are so screwed up that they're just not going to make them here anymore. You've got South Korea shutting down project after project after project. You know what? Respect is a very, very, very big deal among the South Koreans. It's not like, my dad didn't serve in Korea and tons of Americans didn't absolutely lay down their lives in Korea to build that relationship that Trump is destroying in one term. Lena Nicolason. Did I get that right? Nicolason? Thank you for being here. our Norwegian friends, thank you for being here. New supporter, another supporter from Norway. Glad to see our international audience chiming in. Body of a black 21-year-old student found hanged at Delta University, Mississippi a few days ago, and police say it is a suicide. Do you know anything about this disturbing news? I do. I got attacked for this badly. I did. I got attacked for this badly. People believe what they want to believe. They do. You're talking about Trey Reed. Look, there are bots right now desperately trying to foment left-right hate. There are. And the best lies are the ones that have a kernel of truth to it. Trey Reed, according to the medical examiner and the chief of police, Trey Reed hung himself. Whew. I got so attacked. I took it. It wasn't worth it to me. I took that post down. I did. I deleted it off my social media because I just didn't want to deal with that shit. Look, all I can tell you is this guy. One second. One second. What I got attacked with is that, it's the white police and they're covering up because no black man ever commits suicide by hanging. Okay. I understand that. But this is the chief of police that said Trey Reed hung himself, that they have evidence that he hung himself. And he said the original stories that came out said that he had 2 broken legs and a broken arm and had been beaten. No, that's not the case. And the guy that's telling you that that's not the case is this guy. He's the chief medical examiner, the county coroner, Randolph Seals, has come out and said that no, there were no contusions. There were nothing that you're seeing reported online is actually factual. He had no broken arms and legs. And he went even so far as to say, I have reason to believe that he did this to himself. It's a tragedy. It is a complete and utter tragedy. It is. And then it coincides with another man, a white homeless guy by the name of Corey Zakatis, that we don't know what happened to him. We don't have the reports back from him. We don't. In a wooded area in Vicksburg. See, it was originally pointed, spread online that they were like right next to each other. No, Vicksburg and Dixie University are half a state away from each other. But it was said that, they were right there and they were lynched and the black man had been severely beaten. None of that was true. None of that turned out to be true. All we know is that 2 men were hanged on the same day. One appears to have hung himself. The other one, we don't know yet. I don't know what happened to Tony Zakatis. They all they know is that he was on drugs at the time. They've got the toxicology reports back that he was very high when he was hung. I don't know what happened there. We have to be very, 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 very careful. What we jump on, we do. And I'm sorry if this disagrees with the narrative that you believe. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just telling you what's being reported. Yeah, he was. Corey Zakatis was a white guy. He was a homeless white guy, drug addict. But yeah, you can't bullshit. Go back to what we were talking about. You cannot bullshit your way. You can't bullshit your way through a crashing economy. Inflation, they want inflation at 2%, 2 to 2.5%, maximum 2.5%. That's the upper window. It has consistently been creeping upward. In August, it was 2.9%. I believe actually it was a little higher than that. I do. I believe it was actually a little higher than that. I don't quite believe the numbers coming out of the Trump regime. I don't. I don't believe that they're accurate anymore. I really don't. They desperately want those rate cuts, and inflation means no rate cuts. But it looks like they're going to do it anyways. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming down the road. And just an FYI, no, this isn't a global thing. This isn't. Our Canadian friends are not having this problem. Their inflation in August was 1.9%. Yeah, they're those countries that are not engaging in this idiocy. Yeah, people have been very generous. I just wanted to say thank you, George. Yeah, to all the people that sent in coffee. I'm truly grateful. I am truly grateful. I am truly grateful. Supporting my coffee addiction. You can't bullshit your way through this. Canada's not engaging in this tariff bullshit. They're still engaging in global trade. Mark Carney is a smart guy. He's appointing smart people. They're not having this inflation problem that we're having. And folks, it's not just that's CPI. That's core inflation. That is not everything. Mandoli says, here's my sorry ass leftover tax. Please drink some extra coffee for me. Mine will have to wait. No, hey, brother, I appreciate you being here. I really appreciate y'all being here. I do. But yeah, it's not just that, because they don't take into account everything when they do the CPI. I mean, electric bills are skyrocketing across the country. Electric bills are skyrocketing. Just as a quick census, those of you in the audience, how many of you are seeing your electric bills going up, and by what percentage are you seeing it go up? This is a Florida couple. This is a Florida couple talking about their electric bills are just skyrocketing. Everybody loves this, Michaela. Everybody loves this. Got a 17% increase here from Jamie. Got a 33% increase from Tamara. That is not unheard of. Actually, I've seen higher reported. Yeah, a lot of people are seeing their, oh, just rub it in, Jeanette. Just rub it in. You and your smart, decent leadership. Just rub it in. Oh, God, I love having an international audience here. I really do. These are the two things I'm seeing reported, that you're getting brownouts. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people. The highest I've seen reported is a 55% increase. A 55% increase. And it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. Worst. It's just going to get worse. It is. Kirsta 007, my electric has gone up by 50% since the beginning of summer. Yeah. You want to know why? Two reasons. Natural gas prices are skyrocketing. No, not every electric plant is natural gas, but enough of them are that increased prices of natural gas is spiking your electric bills. And here's the other one. Demand is skyrocketing. We didn't suddenly get really inefficient. You know, all your electric, all your air conditioning, your climate control systems in your houses didn't suddenly become super inefficient this summer. No, we are seeing incredible demand from the tech industry. And once again, we're seeing the broligarchs do it all over again. These data centers and AI centers are sucking up massive amounts of electricity. massive amounts of electricity, and they aren't fitting the bill. You are. Just like the tariffs are designed to transfer the oligarchs' taxes onto you through a stealth sales tax, this is the same thing. Your electric bill spiking is a direct result of the oligarchs and their business interests not paying their share of what they're burning. You know, this is capitalism, folks. It's not supposed to work this way. They bitch about socialism when it's healthcare for you. That's bad. They bitch about socialism when it's public transit for you. But when they just want to have a business adventure where they suddenly suck up massive amounts of electricity that shouldn't succeed, it shouldn't succeed. They should be getting killed with bills that are so high that their little venture is no longer financially viable. Oh no, they're taken care of. That is being passed on to you. Mike Daly, electric bill doubled last month. Yeah. Thank you for being here, brother. Can't do the show without you, my friend. We are seeing so much pressure on individuals. It's not even funny. This is natural. This is what natural gas futures did yesterday. That is not a healthy graph, folks. Remember when we talked about the Henry Hub and what Henry Hub was? I showed you where the pipelines all come together down in Louisiana. Yeah, this is what natural gas prices did just yesterday. It's insane. It's insane. But you know what the narrative's going to be? Gases are getting cheap. Trump delivered on cheap gas. That's going to be the message. That's going to be the message. Watch what happens over the next couple of weeks. West Texas Intermediate Grade crude. The bottom is falling out of oil. The bottom is falling out of oil. OPEC is flooding the market with oil. The economy is slowing down. So demand for oil is decreasing while production is increasing. So oil is plunging, absolutely plunging. And while that's going on, you've got the EIA, the U.S. Energy Information Agency, Administration, is putting stuff out like this. And this is why I don't trust our government. I don't trust the Trump regime. This is the headline. EIA expects the price of crude to fall to below $60 a barrel by the end of the year and average near $50 a barrel through 2026. There is no economic formula that comes up with that prediction. Not one based in reality. The only way you get those numbers, and I've got a close-up of the actual numbers, the only way you get those numbers is if you go with the bullshit narrative that they're predicting for economic activity. You've got to believe the shit that they're telling people on, we see Navarro, we see Howard Nutlick and everybody out on the news, and they've got these pie in the sky predictions for economic activity. That is the only way that those numbers hold true. They're going to be far worse. Andy G., your thoughts on the supposed text message from the CK shooter, no timestamps and unusual details. That was not two kids talking. If you ever seen kids text, they don't talk that way. I hate to get into conspiracy theories, Andy. I really do. Thank you for being here, for part of our UK audience. Thank you for being here, brother. But yeah, right now, I read that and I'm like, weird. Discord text message back and forth that absolutely confirms the bullshit narrative they've been trying to push, but it reads like it was written by a 50-year-old man. Yeah, I hate conspiracy. Y'all know me. I hate conspiracy theories. I really do. I'm not going to say that that's a bullshit fake text. I'm not. I don't have proof of that yet. But I'm going to tell you I'm watching that because that was a red flag for me. That was a serious red flag. That's why we're not talking about it on the show today. I want information. Mr. Knudsen, Norway wage growth, 5.3% annual increase. Grocery food inflation, 3.1% annual increase. Vote Social Democrat and join unions. Improve the lives for 99% of the people in the USA. Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. You know where from Mr. Knudsen's from? That part of the world, the countries in that part of the world, you've got Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, even Germany. They consistently report the happiest populations and the highest standards of living. The Netherlands are doing it right. But yeah, to answer your question about the text messages, I don't believe in that. I there's something wrong there, which tells me that they could be falsifying charging documents. They could be screwing this case. Spencer Cox, the governor of Utah, has been out there saying things that are endangering the prosecution as it is. Yeah, they very much look like they're destroying this prosecution. Jeanette Dahl, I have an app so I can see the price of electricity, so I only use it when it's really cheap. That's smart. That is smart. That is smart. But let's take a closer look at those numbers. I blew it up with what they were trying to share. They talk about Brent crude. They're saying 2024 was $81 a barrel, which it was. It was. 2025, they're saying it's going to average $67 a barrel. It is not. It is not. It is going to plunge so far, so fast. This number is unrealistic. 2026, they're saying, it'll bottom out around $51 a barrel on average. No. There is nothing that they can point to that says it's going to stop at $51 a barrel. Nothing. They're saying retail gas prices. I thought it was below $2 a gallon already. Oh, no. They're saying the average in 2025 is going to be $3.10. I thought it was already below $2 a gallon. That's what the liar in chief said. And then they're saying here in 2026, it's going to be $2.90. No, it's going to be cheaper than that, folks. The average is going to be cheaper than that. You're going to see a crash. Gas, hey, good for you. Gas is going to be cheap. Bad for the oil industry. And I want to remind everybody again, and the last thing we're going to look at, and then I want to talk about this. They're saying U.S. liquefied natural gas gross exports is going to go from 12 billion barrels to 15 billion barrels to 16 billion barrels. This is the problem. And they're saying the price on natural gas is going to go $2.20 to $3.60 to $4.30 next year. Your electric bills follow the exact same arc as these natural gas prices. You're seeing a 100% increase in natural gas prices, what they're talking about 2024 to 2026. Yeah, folks. Propane mirrors LNG. Propane, I saw the question about propane. It mirrors LNG. Folks, look, there's nothing out there, I'm telling you, there's nothing out there that shows that that's where the natural gas prices are going to cap, and there's nothing that shows that that's going to be the bottom for oil prices. And I know a lot of you saying, well, Paul, why are you you're an anti-Trump guy. Why are you saying gas is going to be cheap? It is. It's going to be too cheap. And it's going to be cheap because the economy is crashing. But folks, there's a bottom, and OPEC knows this. OPEC knows this. Everybody has a different floor. OPEC uses freaking damn near slave Chinese labor in their oil fields. Their bottom, they can run all day long at $45 a barrel and still make money. It's not ideal for them, but they're not going to go broke. Folks, if oil hits the mid to low 40s and stays there, the U.S. oil industry collapses. And that's why they picked that $51 number. At $51, there's no more production. That means the jobs go away. But the companies are fine. There's no collapse of the industry. That there'll be enough people working to rehabilitate wells as they get older. The industry won't collapse. If they're wrong about that number by $10 a barrel, it does. It does. And then that, if you remember back to the 70s and OPEC and gas shortages and prices going through the roof, puts us back in that position again. And I don't trust the Trump administration to be able to do anything about this. I just don't. I don't think they're competent enough to do anything about this. They don't appoint people into the positions that would need to be in the positions to deal with the situation, to actually deal with the situation. They put internet trolls and clowns in these positions. And it's not just the oil industry that is in danger. It isn't. Yeah, are you tired of the winning yet, Kirsten? Yeah. Are you tired of the winning yet? This is something else that and I'm going to tell you, I'm really angry at the corporate media. I really am angry at them. They are really trying to bullshit their way through this. I want you to type in the comments what you think headlines would be during a Democratic administration if this was happening. Housing markets with falling home prices just hit the highest level since 2012. I'm going to leave this up there and explain something. Falling home prices is a terrible red flag for your economy. When this bubble burst, new home construction has already halted. It has halted. You're not seeing new neighborhoods. You're not seeing new home construction anywhere. All of those people employed in those industries and all of the companies that supply them, ABC, the country's largest shingle distributor, huge Trump supporters. They've been hurt pretty much one of the worst. They have been just seeing their business blown apart with this. It's a big freaking deal. Not just the ripples in the economy, but folks, you take on a mortgage, and when you see your house lose value, when you see the mortgage that you've got to pay for the next 30 years or 15 years is on a house that is worth less today than the day you bought it, and it looks like it's going to keep falling, do you know what most people do? They walk away. They just walk away. Allow that home to go into foreclosure. Yeah. We've seen it happen before. It was the collapse of 2007. Remember Barack Obama coming into office facing the worst economic collapse, one of the worst economic collapses in our history because of the idiocy of the Trump administration? They're doing it again. I want you to, what is the headline that you would see? Housing markets with falling home prices just at the highest level since 2012. Folks, that was during the last economic collapse that we saw housing prices doing that. All this chaos and people are still on the fence about voting Democrats. I know, it's insane. That'll change. Pain is a real eye-opener. It really is an eye-opener. The hardest thing for people to do is to say they were wrong. Yeah, Republicans caused the '07 collapse because they let people like Peter Navarro, they let people like Howard Nutlick make the decisions. And it's already showing jobless claims have spiked. Jobless claims reached the highest level since 2021. A sign layoffs are rising. You think, does anybody remember what caused the jobless claim spike in 2021? I want to see how closely you're paying attention. We're a community show here. Does anybody remember what caused the jobless claim spike in 2021? Again, a Republican handed a Democrat that just came into office in January of 2021, and jobless claims were exploding. Exactly. A worldwide pandemic. A worldwide pandemic. Now I want you to think about that corporate news CBS headline and think about it in two different ways. First of all, wow, that headline doesn't say worst jobless claims since we had a global pandemic and the entire economy was shut down. Maybe we should look at the economy. What does that tell you about the economy? I think everybody pretty much will understands that the economy shut down completely under COVID. I mean, it was on life support. It was literally next to being a corpse. And now we have jobless claims that are as high as they have ever been since that happened. Is the corporate media telling you, hey, let's look at this shitty economy? No, they're hand jobbing the Trump administration. They're hand jobbing the Trump regime. They are. It's disgusting. Now, to express a little butt hurt on my part, what do you think that headline would be if Joe Biden was president, or Kamala Harris was president, or any Democrat was president? What do you think that headline would be? Trump is a walking, breathing pandemic. Vincent Serravo couldn't have said it better myself. Perfect. He is a walking, breathing pandemic. We saw the August job numbers. We talked about this last week. You have to create 240,000 jobs to break even. Just to break even with population growth, you've got to create 240,000 jobs. They have been under that forever. They only created a miserable 22,000 jobs that's what's going on with the economy. And it's in every sector. Every sector. Farm bankruptcies. We've had now, this is an old chart. We now have had more farm bankruptcies in 2025, and it's directly related to tariffs. We've had more farm bankruptcies in 2025 than we had in all of 2024. And the data from that is only for the first half of the year. And it's getting worse. It's accelerating. Let me say that again so that you understand. Mike Daly, the second Great Depression. It's looking bad. It's looking bad. I want to say that again. We've had more farm bankruptcies in the first half of this year than we had in all of last year. And last year was not a good year, folks. 2024 was not a good year for farm bankruptcies. And we're only halfway through the year. And it's getting worse because of the tariffs. fertilizer, all the inputs have skyrocketed. Labor prices are skyrocketing because of Trump's policy. Everything is getting more expensive for farmers to produce, and prices are not following suit. The headline would be Democrats kill housing market. Beef prices are still going up. If you think meat's expensive now, beef prices are still going up. Meanwhile, China, they're saying, you want a trade war? Okay. We'll buy our soybeans from Brazil. China is paying more for their soybeans and getting a poorer quality from Brazil than they would get from our farmers. They're just not going to buy from our farmers, but directly because of this trade war. That's what a trade war is, folks. You're firing back and forth at each other. But you want to hear the craziness? Even with that happening and everybody knowing it's happening, the futures market for soybeans are skyrocketing. They're still climbing. There's no attachment to reality in the pricing. And in that article I just showed you, let me show you the most pertinent paragraph. Because it's not farmers. It's not farmers. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let me read this for you real quick and we'll talk about it. Perhaps the most surprising shift was the massive increase in corn acreage. Area planted was increased from 997.3 to 98.7 million acres. While our previous analysis of farm program acreage sign-ups did suggest more corn acres than we were in the earlier August report, the size of the observed change was unexpected. Soybean acres were also increased from 80.9 to 81.1 million, a smaller but similarly unexpected change. Farmers are planting more. That's what that means. They went out and did what they were supposed to do. Yield estimates were expected to drop. That means the amount they get per acre was expected to drop. That would have spiked the prices of corn. If you're getting corn and soybeans, if you're getting less per acre off each acre, that makes the prices go up. So what did farmers do? Farmers did what they should do in this situation, and they planted more. And they did so in a way that it actually overcompensated for what they were losing in yields. Farmers, I'm going to say it again, did exactly what you would hope a patriotic industry would do. They didn't just sit there and ride higher prices. No, they went out and did more work. And how were they rewarded? With a fucking trade war. Mr. Knudsen, after the end of USAID, China is building infrastructure in Africa and Brazil to farm soybeans, winning new friends. Trump messed up again. Yes. Yeah. Folks, we have little Marco running our State Department. China is helping the very people that we cut off their aid become even more self-sufficient. We are the assholes, and they're coming in as the heroes. Canadian Paul, beef is going to get worse in the next 2 years. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because let me tell you what's going on with beef. See, everybody sold off their herds. We had something that happened a couple of years ago that caused people to sell off their herds. So right now, they're rebuilding those herds. You can't just, suddenly I've got mama cows making babies. No, you've got to regrow your herds. And buying in those mama cows and buying in calves, that's an investment. You have to feed them. You have to care for them while they're producing parts of your herd. It's not free. Well, beef prices are so high, it doesn't make any economic sense. They're selling off the cows that they brought in to rebuild their herds because beef prices are so high and getting higher. So they're not rebuilding the herds anymore. Literally everybody that has a cow is selling it right now. This is all what we're facing. This is all what we're facing. And again, stuff like this is happening. The imbecilic nature of this regime cannot be quantified. You have these images all over the world. You have Trump bear hugging Benjamin Netanyahu. And you have these images of Palestinians. We haven't seen these images since the Indian-Pakistani civil war. I wouldn't say a civil war, it's just a split of India and Pakistan. All of northern Gaza is being decimated. They just have completely destroyed. They've got tanks that have rolled into Gaza City. They are leveling it. There's going to be nothing to come back to. Exactly. B. Terry, exactly. That's what the Trump administration, Trump regime is doing. And no one is stepping up to stop it. No one. Not Israel's neighbor, not Egypt, not Saudi Arabia, not Jordan, not Syria. No one. Damn sure not Trump. People have used the Palestinians in that region forever. They used them as an excuse for war. They used them as indentured servants. They've used them and used them and used them. And now no one is stopping Netanyahu. No one. Not Europe. Not Russia. No one. Damn sure not Trump. Then that's set in the backdrop of this. Yeah, the Epstein ballroom. What a beautiful backdrop to all of this. The economy is imploding. I mean, can you think of a better narrative to show people what is going on? The economy is imploding. Your electric bills are skyrocketing. Your food prices are skyrocketing. Layoffs are happening everywhere in every industry. Oh, let's build a big ballroom for our parties. The Epstein ballroom. Can you think, Catherine Sofakadis, thank you for being here always. That's why there was no groundbreaking. Did you see the groundbreaking ceremony? Did you see the groundbreaking ceremony? There wasn't one, and there is not one planned. They can't talk Trump out of it. They cut down historic old trees. These trees have names, people. If you've never been to the White House, these trees have names. They know how old every tree on the White House grounds is. They know when it was planted and who it was planted by, and they're taking chainsaws to them left and right for Trump's ballroom. But no groundbreaking ceremony. Curse 007, let them eat cake. Yeah. Thought I saw a troll there I was going to take care of. I didn't see him. Y'all probably got him already. You mods are fantastic. But yeah, folks. What do they want to talk about? Charlie Jerk? They want to make up bullshit about left, right, violence. They want to try to claim credit for crime reductions that they didn't do. And then they're going to try to lie when crime spikes, which it will. Every time this happens to the economy, desperate people will not starve to death voluntarily. They will not. They will steal. Violence will rise. That's what happens when this happens. We're seeing 2007 all over again, but there's no Obama administration to step in. We're years away. That's like imagine the 2007 crash happening in 2005 instead of 7. And that idiot George W. Bush being in charge for a couple more years. That's the situation we're in. Don Huber, regarding the Jerry Jones rule, wait till hockey season. Putin may demand Russia's replacing Canadian players. Elbows up. Yeah. If you don't know what he's talking about, is I put a reel out about Jerry Jones and his bullshit moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, an out-and-out bigot. You know, Jerry Jones is an Arkansas hillbilly from way back. Everybody knows what he is. Everybody knows what he is. Everybody knows, just like every other old person you see from that generation, everybody knows they're bigots. But we've got a deal, an unspoken deal made with them. They keep that bigotry in the closet, in their home, when they're sipping cognac, when they're with their buddies, their billionaire oligarch buddies. They keep that shit quiet. They don't endorse it. They don't push it. And we ignore it. We ignore it because that's who they are. They're a bunch of old bigots. But this Charlie Kirk bullshit was crossing the line. The Charlie Jerk moment of silence was crossing the line. And they're going to have a big old Klan funeral in State Farm Stadium for Charlie Jerk this Sunday. That's crossing the line. Charlie Jerk was an open bigot, and you're celebrating him. That ain't in the closet anymore, Grandpa. And there are repercussions for that. There are repercussions for that. So yeah, I'm not doing football this year. I'm not. May not ever do it again. Been too many years of bullshit. You ruin the sport. And I'm keeping track of everybody that goes to that Charlie Jerk funeral. If you're a celebrity and you go to the Charlie Jerk funeral, it's a free country. You're allowed to do that. But you're not free from the repercussions. I see you at the Charlie Jerk funeral. I will not ever watch one of your movies or listen to one of your records. It's a free country. I would die for Charlie Jerk's right to say the shit he said. I would. And I think it is fucking abhorrent that somebody killed that man. But you know what? If you want to be beloved in your death, you better live your life like you want that. And every fucking person that's out there whining on the internet and on social media about Charlie Kirk and his passing is telling you exactly who they are. Believe them. They're telling you that Charlie Jerk Is there Martin Luther King? Really? Where's his quotes? Where are the Charlie Jerk quotes? Because we've got a lot of, we've got the whole I Have a Dream speech. We have the letters from the Birmingham jail. We have a lot from Martin Luther King that we can proudly talk about as a nation. Where are your Charlie Jerk quotes? Oh, yeah. You get mad every time we quote them to you. No. Jerry Jones, you fucked up. You did. You don't even know how badly you fucked up yet. You're done. Sierra Rain Cloud, I am a disabled Navy veteran and a trans woman, and I am tired and scared and disgusted. I can't do this shit anymore. Why can't they leave us be? Because they're horrible people that can't do a damn thing in this world, so they have to have someone to attack. They have to have someone to attack. And most people don't know folks like you. To answer your question directly, most people don't know folks like you. They don't know anything about you. So they feel comfortable lying about you. It's just cowards and weaklings and bad people. E.T. Midas Network put out about the Mad King wanting to do something about free speech. Yeah. Pam Bondi is actually getting attacked. If y'all didn't see this, you remember the guy that didn't want to bake the cake for the gay couple and how they just ballyhooed that. And this Supreme Court said, you can't make them do that. You can't do that. Well, now Pam Bondi wants to force people. There was a clerk at an office supply store. Somebody walked in with a Charlie Jerk pamphlet and they said, no, I can't do that. I can't make that for you. You have to come back when somebody else is here. You have to get someone else to do it, go to another company, whatever. They got that kid fired. And now Pam Bondi says they want to prosecute him. Yeah. Nobody wanted to prosecute the guy that made the cake, that refused to make the cake. See, there was never any of this that was real, folks. They didn't really care about freedom or religious freedom. It was about hate. It was about hate. Somebody says, no, Charlie Jerk was a bigot. He was an open bigot and an open misogynist and said horrible, shitty things. I'm not going to do the work to lionize that. Good for him. Good for him. He has morals. But no, you can't have that freedom. You can't have that freedom. Joseph Galati, thank you for being here all the time, man. Foundational member of the show. Glad to have you here, sir. Well, folks, that's what I have for you today. I hope it was useful. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. On a Wednesday, on a slow, repetitive news day, we've got damn near 3,000 people in here. We're doing something. We're doing it. We're growing the audience we just crossed over 200,000. Boom, we're already closed in on 300,000. I told you it would take off like crazy. Appreciate you doing your part. I appreciate you hitting the thumbs up button. I appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. And I appreciate you sharing this and talking about it and getting people here in the audience. Glenn Kaneko, I saw that. Pam Bondi failed first year law. Yeah, she did. She did. Dollar Straws, thank you for being here. I got to tell you, even some Republicans were like, whoa, we've been arguing this for years. You can't go that direction. That's the exact opposite. That's like we wanted to release the Epstein files. Now we want to pretend there's nothing in the Epstein files. You're hurting us and all the shit that we've been saying. Yeah, there was never anything to Republicans. I have told you that. I told you that and told you that and told you that. Republicans are bad people. They are about power. That's it. And they will say anything. They will lie about anything. There's no morals or character behind anything they say ever. Lincoln, mark this post for the future. The FBI fabricated the text of the shooter. The shooter is in suicide watch. He's not suicidal. Hope he isn't Epstein. Yeah. Yeah. We will see. We will see. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.